On our three cities in Orange County, Newburgh, Middletown, and Port Jervis. I'm pleased to announce that 23 people have been indicted, and we expect more indictments to be unsealed later in the week, to the upwards of 30 people being arrested for narcotics trafficking and illegal gun trafficking. The operation itself focused on those selling heroin, cocaine, oxycodone, handguns, as well as ammunition in Orange County. In a few moments, I am going to detail for you the cooperation of the 6 police agencies, 1 town, and 3 cities that focused in this operation. In my 31st day in office, I'm pleased to promote the results of these enforcement activities. I think they reiterate, and I cannot say that forcefully enough, my commitment to law enforcement in this county and my commitment to the 3 cities, that those who sell narcotics and those who sell guns will be dealt with swiftly, harshly, and fairly to the fullest extent possible. To that end, these arrests and this investigation clearly shows us that there's a nexus between drug trafficking and firearms in our community. It gives me great pleasure today to welcome Sheriff Carl Du Bois, the City of Newburgh Mayor Judy Kennedy, the City of Newburgh Police Chief Michael Ferrara, City of Middletown Mayor Joe DiStefano, the City of Middletown Police Chief Raymond Bentoncourt, the City of Port Jervis Mayor Kelly Decker, the City of Port Jervis Chief William Warden, Town of Newburgh Supervisor Wayne Booth, and the Town of Newburgh Police Chief Michael Clancy, Major Wayne Olson from the New York State Police, and Sheriff Carl Du Bois. Individuals arrested or indicted in this case consist of Calvin Foster, 29, and Javante Brown, 22. Each of Newburgh were charged in separate indictments with selling heroin or cocaine to undercover police officers while they were within 1,000 feet of a school. It is alleged that these sales occurred in the vicinity of the Baumville Elementary School in the town of Newburgh and Bishop Dunn Elementary School in the city of Newburgh. Each of these defendants face up to 9 years in state prison if they are convicted. 3 defendants were charged with selling weapons, some of which are in front of you here, including illegal handguns, ammunition, and a loaded sawed-off shotgun to undercover police officers in Newburgh. Jason Robinson, 29 of Newburgh, is charged with criminal sale of a firearm in the 3rd degree and criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree for allegedly selling a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol and selling cocaine on 2 occasions. 1 sale occurred outside of an elementary school. Robinson faces up to 12 years in state prison if convicted. Thomas Pugh, 21, is charged with criminal sale of a firearm in the 3rd degree and criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree for selling a loaded sawed-off shotgun as well as cocaine. Devin Williams, 17, allegedly sold a loaded .38 caliber revolver and is charged with criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree and criminal sale of a firearm in the 3rd degree. If convicted, he faces up to 15 years in state prison. 8 other individuals were charged with selling narcotics to undercover police officers in the city and town of Newburgh. Johnny Rodriguez, 26. Stanford Boyd, 26. Gary Solomon, 19. Victor Rivas, 25. Alexander King, 20. Octavian Jackson, 20. Were all charged with criminal sale of controlled substance in the 3rd degree and face up to 9 years in state prison if convicted. Interestingly enough, all of these individuals sold narcotics on at least 1 time, and most of the indictments consist of 2 counts of sale. Devin Williams, 27, and Patrick Whitted, 50, of Newburgh are charged with criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree and face up to 12 years in state prison if convicted. At the time Boyd was arrested outside of his residence as a part of this operation, police observed him drop 10 decks of heroin. A search warrant was subsequently executed at Boyd's residence, which resulted in the seizure of an additional 805 decks of heroin with a street value in excess of $16,000, as well as a quantity of marijuana. 5 defendants were charged with selling narcotics to undercover police officers in the city of Middletown. Ronald Taylor, 23, Kajaja Phillips, 18, April Baltimore, 24, and Angel Diaz, 38, Jerome Whitaker, 52, all of Middletown, were indicted on charges including criminal sale of controlled substance in the 3rd degree. Taylor and Baltimore face up to 15 years in state prison. Whitaker faces up to 12 years in state prison if convicted. Phillips and Diaz face up to 9 years in state prison if convicted. Again, it was not one sale, it was two. On January 30th, 2014, in the city of Port Jervis, police officers arrested Chantel Johnson, 35, of Patterson, New Jersey, and Weldon Fitzgerald McWilliams, 27, of Port Jervis, and charged them with criminal possession of a weapon in the 3rd degree and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree. The arrest stemmed from the execution of a search warrant at 32 Fowler Street in Port Jervis. 58 bags of heroin, 22 grams of crack cocaine, 17 oxycodone pills, a loaded .22 caliber handgun, and a loaded 9mm Glock were recovered during the execution of that search warrant. Johnson faces up to 15 years in state prison, McWilliams 9, and Tiffany Mann of Port Jervis was additionally charged with criminal possession of a firearm for 2 pistols and faces up to 1 1/3 to 4 years in state prison. The police obtained search warrants for these locations after repeated complaints of drug sales. These arrests are significant arrests in Port Jervis based upon the quantity and the amount of narcotics that they possessed, as well as the fact that they were armed. Lee Mitchell, 33, of Port Jervis, was arrested and charged with criminal sale of controlled substance in the 3rd degree for selling oxycodone to an undercover police officer on January 8, 2014. If convicted, she faces up to 9 years in state prison. All of these cases were presented to the Orange County grand juries during January of this year. The defendants were arrested in raids conducted in by the City of Newburgh Police Department, the City of Middletown Police Department, City of Port Jervis Police Department, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, the Town of Newburgh Police Department, and the New York State Police, primarily on January 30th and today. I commend the police departments involved in this operation, and I cannot speak highly enough of the actions that they've taken under what I have asked them in the past month. Illicit narcotics trade destroys individuals, families, and our communities. I think these arrests demonstrate the link between narcotics and violent crimes. And again, I am so pleased to be here on the 31st day of my tenure as your district attorney with these cases, noting that they were based upon the communication, cooperation, and collaboration of so many police departments and so many elected officials. I am so happy that we were able to start this way, and I know that we will be able to continue this in the future. Also, I have to say, the County Executive of Orange County, Stephen Newhouse, has been entirely supportive of this operation. He's entirely supportive of the crime-fighting actions that we have taken and the actions that we have taken with law enforcement. I thank him for his support, as well as any budgetary things that he can provide our way. I have to commend, additionally, I would like to point out to you the 5 handguns and the sawed-off shotguns and ammunition in front of me are telltale signs that we have problems in our communities that have to be dealt with. Even more problematic is the fact that in this operation we recovered in excess of $25,000 of illegal narcotics. I am very pleased that members of my staff, Senior Assistant District Attorney Lori Goldberg, Assistant District Attorneys Matthew Healy, Amir Sagadahani, David Curtin, Neil Erickson, and Jason Rosenwasser have all taken part in this operation, and many of them spent many hours outside of normal business hours working on this operation to have this operation completed within the month that I gave them to do it. Additionally, my Chief Investigator, Will Garcia, standing here beside me, and my Chief Assistant in the back of the room, Christopher Borg, have done a wonderful job with these cases. I'm going to turn it over now to the law enforcement officers here, the chiefs, as well as the state police and the sheriff, if they'd like to make some comments. I remind everybody in this room that all of the individuals here are merely charged. And under our justice system and in this country, they are innocent until proven guilty. Would any of the chiefs like to speak? Chief Farrar, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you especially for this operation. The 2014, the year is young. We're into January, and we're already into the first investigation and takedown. This is an important effort. As you know, narcotics and weapons violations. I'm speaking not only for the city of Newburgh, but the city of Port Jervis. I have Chief Warden with me and Chief Bethencourt from the city of Middletown. These are weapons and narcotics violations just add to our violent crime. It's the violent crime that we've been targeting, we're focused on, and the chiefs, we work together, we cooperate, we share our investigations, and now with the new district attorney, new county executive, I think these investigations are going to continue. The 23 indictments are very important. It's a great way to start the year, but got to remember, these mug shots, these arrests that have been made, these are the people that have been picked up already. My message to those who have dealt with weapons and narcotics or would be considered dealing with weapons and narcotics or have in the past in the cities and in the county of Orange, they should clearly be aware. The aggressive enforcement efforts are going to continue, the investigations are going to continue, and I guarantee you more people will be forthcoming in these arrests.
Thank you, Chief. Major Olson, State Police, would you like to say something?
Thanks. Yeah, I would. First off, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Hoovler. We've worked cases in the past. He was with the DA's office years ago, came back, and now he's the elected district attorney. He wasted no time in putting together what I think is a pretty well thought out strategic plan on how he wants to deal with these issues. It's no big secret to any of the law enforcement officers in the room that guns, drugs, and the violence associated with them are problematic in the community. Mr. Hoovler has a plan to deal with that. I think we're all happy to be part of that plan. You see today a significant number of people taken off the street, and as the chief just indicated, we have many high hopes for more to come, and as partner law enforcement agencies, we plan on continuing the fight. Thanks.
Thank you, Major. Sheriff Du Bois, would you like to say a word or two?
The Orange County Sheriff's Office continues to be a resource for all the police agencies in Orange County, and we have that resource as partners. We are partners with all law enforcement in Orange County. In this unit here, or this sweep today, we've engaged our Special Operations Group, our canine units, and also numerous personnel around Orange County. And at any given time also, I know that the police agencies have used our gang intel unit to track people around Orange County and what kind of intelligence we have on defendants that have been in the jail before. Obviously, our main concern is protection of the public and to assist the new district attorney with the prosecution of those that threaten our quality of life. This is a team effort. There is no one agency better than the other, and we look at it that way, and we are partners, and that's what gets the job done. Thank you.
I'd like to give our three mayors an opportunity to speak. Judy Kennedy from the city of Newburgh, Mayor DeStefano from Middletown, and Kelly Decker from Port Jervis.
First, I'd like to just congratulate the DA's office and the police enforcement officers and say thank you. Thank you for working so diligently. I look forward to working with the new DA's office, and I'm so grateful for what our police departments have done. And especially today, this idea of collaboration and partnership. You've heard that word a couple of times here already. And it is so key that we do collaborate, that the cities work together, that the DA's office work with us, that the police departments are working together. 6 different police organizations, law enforcement agencies have come together to make this happen. This is my second press conference for today for the city of Newburgh. The first one was to announce a large economic activity that we have over as far as the Port of Newburgh is concerned. This is pushing us in the right direction as far as economics is concerned and building jobs for the city of Newburgh. This particular issue is just as important because this is taking people off the street who are dealing drugs and dealing in the sale of firearms. So it's important that our cities are working on both fronts in order to really bring about the revival and the renaissance in all of our cities. And so this is a very important partnership for the city of Newburgh in order for us to really move the city in the direction that we need to move it in. And I just want everyone to know within the earshot of this video that we are serious about making the city of Newburgh safe. And this is one effort that's going to do that. If you're dealing drugs, if you're dealing in the sale of firearms in the city of Newburgh, we are coming after you, and we intend to push this as far as we can, and I ask the court systems to support this, and we need to get these people off the street and start protecting our children and our families from this kind of insanity. And I just am really looking forward to working with you and we're continued work with my fellow mayors and the police and the sheriff's office, the state police. I will work with you to the full extent that I can, and I say thank you. Turn it over to you. Well, you're right here.
Go ahead, Russ.
Oh, yeah.
A little wider in here.
Thank you. As the newly elected mayor of the city of Port Jervis, and a retired police officer, retired school resource officer, and DARE officer, I give kudos to the Port Jervis Police Department and my chief, William Warden. The police department has been given the green light by my office and by the city council to go after drug dealers and people of ill repute. I want to make sure that the residents of the city of Port Jervis have the ability to enjoy the city to the fullest extent that they can. And I'm looking forward to working with both of the cities to being able to work collaboratively together so that we can find these people, dig them out, whether they go to any of the cities or the towns, and lock them up. And that's what Mr. Hoovler is going to do for us, and we look forward to working with you too. Thank you.
Mayor DeStefano.
Thank you, DA Hoovler. You know, during your political campaign, we had the opportunity to sit down a few times and speak about what your agenda would be as district attorney. And you made it perfectly clear at the time, and some might take it as just political rhetoric, that you were going to have a major focus on crime, especially the 3 cities where the majority of the crime exists, and you're going to dedicate the resources and also follow through. A lot of the people here, as we know, are repeat offenders. Some of them have served time, some of them have not. But the focus is going to be, after the local police departments do their job, we need support from your side, and you've made that commitment, and to not only pursue the cases, not to plea the cases, but to make sure that these people go away for the times that you mentioned, and as you stipulated to each one for the charges made. So we appreciate your efforts and appreciate your follow-through on your campaign pledge, at least private pledges to, I'm sure you've said similar things to the other mayors. But more importantly, the cooperation, and I want to thank Chief Bethencourt and Middletown Police Department, along with all the other agencies involved, and the cooperation that exists amongst Orange County police agencies, and whether it's the FBI task force or this type of arrangement. But more importantly, I have a message for the people in Orange County, that if you think for 1 minute that this is only a city problem, you're mistaken. I had a call yesterday from a gentleman from Warwick who felt his niece was coming into Middletown and buying heroin. And, you know, I told him, well, give me as much information as you can, and I'll send it to the police, and of course, I didn't have much information. But the point being is heroin is an epidemic in this whole region. You know, the gun issue speaks for itself. Kids are dying. It's not just Newburgh, Middletown, and Port Jervis kids that are dying. Kids are dying in the whole Hudson Valley from illegal narcotics, especially the comeback of heroin. And enforcement efforts like this will save lives, and will save lives, and also point out to people who live in areas not in the three cities that it's important to talk to your kids. It's important to educate them about going into bad parts of the county to buy drugs, that there are other things that are there, the guns, it's just a whole host of bad things that can happen to you when you participate in these type of activities. So I commend you and your staff, and also all the police agencies involved, and look forward to many more of these until the message is really out. So kudos to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. As I wrap it up, I'd like to reiterate just 3 key points here. All of the drug sales that occurred here, it wasn't one sale, it was more than one. In most cases, 2. 4 of the sales occurred near our schools, elementary schools. 10 of the defendants are second felony offenders. Moving forward in the future, I think the residents of this county, the law enforcement officers here today, and the media come to expect that this is the way that we will do business, because it's the only way we can do business. When I go to bed at night, I go to bed wanting to make sure that the people of this county are safe. All that being said, I'll take a few questions if you have, but bear in mind that I will not discuss the operational aspects of the case, because there are still some law enforcement officials in the field right now. That being said, any questions? Yes?
Dave, it's always been said by law enforcement that you take 30 people off the street, there are 30 or 60 more behind them. So is this a problem that we're ever going to eradicate?
I don't have the answer to that. The answer that I have for you is that as long as I'm the district attorney in this county, and as long as those gentlemen are standing over there, and we investigate whatever comes to us, and we're going to prosecute whatever comes to us. And we're going to try along the way, those that we can rehabilitate, we're going to try to rehabilitate. Those that we can treat, we can treat. For those that fall into neither of those categories, there's a place for them. Yes.
Was there any link whatsoever between what was going on in Port Jervis, what was going on in Middletown, what was going on in Newburgh?
Well, they were coordinated operations, but all of these operations go to something that I've always said that Orange County needs, that I've implored my staff, and I've spoke with law enforcement. Everywhere in Orange County is different. It's 890 square miles. It's geographically diverse. Investigative techniques that work in Middletown don't necessarily work in Port Jervis or, Newburgh for that matter. Each of these cases are tailored. The techniques and how we did them are tailored to the needs of those communities, to the needs that law enforcement has to use to be able to investigate them, so that we have a case that's litigation ready and provable.